Alex Cooper isn't afraid to spill the dirty deets on her relationships, even if she is nice enough to keep full names out of it. Lucky for you, we've got some deets of our own. In her sophomore year of college, Alex Cooper dated a mystery man, a Boston Red Sox player who was 13 years her senior. During the 2021 I Have a Boyfriend episode of Call Her Daddy, Cooper said the pair hit it off at a bar after the Red Sox had won the World Series. While in conversation with her best friend, Lauren McMullen, she revealed that crossing paths with the unnamed athlete would set a pace for the rest of Cooper's dating life.
I got to bring all my friends. We'd go to the games. It was a cool lifestyle.
Although she had VIP access to players' locker rooms as a girlfriend, Cooper had to come to terms with the fact that there was a sea of other women in the picture. She held on to the lifestyle for as long as she could. But in the end, it wasn't working.
I was walked all over. I was treated like I was so out of my league.
Although Cooper has remained mum on the man's identity, internet sleuths have a strong suspicion that it might have been the Chicago Cubs first base coach Mike Napoli, who won the World Series with the Red Sox in 2013. Despite the games that her first pro athlete played, Cooper wasn't done dating baseball players. She and former New York Mets player Noah Syndergaard dated on and off throughout 2017, appearing a final time at a Knicks basketball game that December. Syndergaard appeared to confirm that his relationship with Cooper was officially over that same month, with a tweet stating that baseball was his significant other. Cooper has seemingly discussed her relationship with Syndergaard, referring to him as Slim Shady. The podcast host told Bustle she began dating Syndergaard during her senior year at Boston University. She also revealed that dating him helped her get a foot in the door at Gotham magazine before Call Her Daddy took off. According to Cooper, the relationship with Syndergaard was glamorous on the outside, but behind closed doors, they weren't truly happy.
We loved how we felt walking into a room together. We didn't like how we felt being alone in a room together.
During a February 2021 episode of Call Her Daddy, Cooper and Summer House star Paige DeSorbo figured out that they had more in common than they initially realized, as DeSorbo went on to chronicle her experience with dating apps. One particular person, an unnamed actor from an NBC primetime series, caught Cooper's attention.
Hey, I wonder if we went on the same date with the same man.
The pair didn't identify the actor, but sure enough, DeSorbo and Cooper's dating histories overlapped, confirming they both dated the same guy around 2018. So, who is the mystery actor? Of course, his name hasn't been confirmed, but Cooper's diehard fan base believes it might have been actor Ryan Eggold, who portrayed the lead character Dr. Max Goodwin on NBC's New Amsterdam. That wasn't the only overlap between the two women, though. Cooper had previously matched with DeSorbo's ex-partner on a dating app, but all their plans to link up fizzled out. On a January 2020 episode of Call Her Daddy, Cooper and her co-host at the time, Sophia Franklin, discussed same-sex relations in depth. In classic Call Her Daddy style, they shared some details from their own lives.
I'd have to put out feelers wait guys, I'm down to hook up with girls.
The pair recounted the time they ended up kissing a woman in the back of an Uber, only for that woman to film the interaction on her phone to send to her boyfriend.
And I guess he loved it.
As soon as Alex Cooper's brand began to rise, it was nearly impossible for her to date without the Call Her Daddy tag. She said on her I Have a Boyfriend episode, "I didn't like meeting men for the first time as the Call Her Daddy girl. I think it was just as strange as it sounds. I'm showing up and they're staring at me am I gonna get the gluck gluck tonight?" One man, for example, made a bet with his friends on how fast he could get with Cooper. And on a possibly even more obnoxious note, a different love interest had a wedding coming up, and he approached Cooper with the intention of possibly replacing his then fiancé, who he'd been with for 6 years. Cooper kept bumping into men who wanted to exploit her for their own gain, and it prompted her to go back to what was familiar, Noah Syndergaard. Cooper and Syndergaard's relationship took a different turn when they reconnected. Cooper had come into her own by then, having found a voice and a legion of fans who were rooting for her. What's more, she felt that they had unfinished business. She said, "There's something about when you have such a crazy, toxic relationship and it ended the way it did with us. We kinda both didn't even have a final say."
There was no closure, and I think a lot of times you go back to it.
For the second try, the pair chose to keep their relationship under wraps. But as it turned out, Syndergaard hadn't changed. And it didn't take long before his behavior prompted Cooper to pull the plug on things yet again.
The games got exhausting. The disingenuous relationship, the lies, the compulsive lying.
At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, Cooper started seeing a man simply known as the Canadian. But things took a shocking turn when the Canadian sent her a photo that featured 2 other men she happened to be chatting with at the time. As far as Cooper knew, the 3 guys didn't run in the same circles. and she couldn't make heads or tails of how they possibly all wound up quarantining together.
Then it gets worse, and they start group FaceTiming me together.
Understandably, this threw a bit of a wrench in things with all three of the guys.
We're gonna go ahead and put that halt.
Right.
I'm so aware that I can't be texting all of them while they're quarantined in the same house.
As usual, she didn't say who the men were, but word on the Daddy Gang streets is that the Canadian was a pro hockey player. Alex Cooper's door number 3, as she referred to him, arrived at her doorstep while she was dating one athlete after another. Door number 3 wasn't her usual kind of guy. He tapped into a deep, vulnerable side of her.
It was so different, and it freaked me out because it opened a door that I had never opened or explored. Hence why he's called door number 3.
Door number 3 was also the one that got away. Although Cooper couldn't handle his intensity when they initially met, by the time she became more mature, things just couldn't line up.
Every time I was ready, then he wasn't ready, and then when I was ready, or then when he was ready, I wasn't ready.
And while this is, once again, extremely unconfirmed, some fans suspect door number 3 was actually former New York Yankees pitcher Shane Green. Alex Cooper's exhilarating dating life was the glue that got her audience hooked to the Call Her Daddy podcast, and one such affair involved one of America's prominent family members. While she didn't drop his name, Cooper did share some interesting breadcrumbs in a December 2020 episode. She'd been going back and forth on whether or not she'd like to go out with this mystery guy. So she ran it by her mom. Her mom, who apparently has a real talent for finding any and all information about Alex's potential suitors, was adamant she go on the date. As Alex recalled, Lori Cooper does some hardcore research. She loves the guy's background. She loves specifically the family background. Alex's mom went on to show her a movie about the unnamed man's family. In that moment, I just flash forward and I'm like picturing myself on this date and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm like, your aunt is so pretty. While we may never know for certain who exactly she went on the date with, we do know that her mother's intuition is a force to be reckoned with. When Cooper made an appearance on the BFFs podcast in 2021, she corroborated the story that she and WWE signee Logan Paul had a secret rendezvous, except they hadn't gone all the way.
He's telling people that we hooked up, and I thought we had this secret that we were gonna keep forever. We weren't gonna tell anyone. We were gonna keep it to ourselves.
Don't you hate that?
On an episode of the Impulsive podcast, Paul said that he enjoyed their time together, but insisted that he only told a close friend. He also shared that he reached out to Cooper after she went on BFFs and tried to plead his case.
I liken it to finding the fountain of youth and not telling anyone.
Yeah.
I got it. I found it.
In February 2021, Cooper confirmed that she had been exclusively dating someone, Mr. Sexy Zoom Man. The two met, obviously, over Zoom. Cooper didn't identify him by name at the time because, as she explained to Bustle in July 2021, he was more like, I fully respect and I support you and your podcast, but I have a job. It turns out that Mr. Sexy Zoom Man is Matt Kaplan, the CEO of Ace Entertainment. His production credits include To All the Boys I've Loved Before and The Lazarus Effect. In many ways, Cooper was skeptical during the early stages of her relationship with Kaplan. Having grown an audience as a free-spirited, non-committed, carefree woman, a serious relationship was the exact opposite of her podcast persona. She said on Call Her Daddy, I love this job. This show is my life. And so, I'm not gonna lie to everyone listening. Of course it ran through my head. Are people not gonna love the narrative that I have a boyfriend? Are people going to think Alex Cooper went soft? In another life, Alex Cooper may have kept her nonchalant persona going to stay true to her Father Cooper tag, but in this one, love came knocking at her doorstep, irresistibly. In April 2023, Cooper took to Instagram to relay the news that she was officially off the market. In a conversation with W Magazine, Cooper revealed that she had reservations about marriage before, but choosing Kaplan was a no-brainer. It immediately was obvious to me, once our relationship progressed to the point that it was time, that yes, I would love to marry him. We went to a date night at Giorgio Baldi in November, and I told him that he could propose whenever he wanted. Propose he did, in a lush, green, intimate candlelit setting at home with her dogs as an audience. But not before he put his future wife through a romantic treasure hunt that chronicled their time together. Kaplan's choice of ring was an oval-cut 1920s rock. A year after their dreamy engagement, Cooper and Kaplan exchanged vows in a scenic ceremony on the shore of Riviera Maya in Mexico.